Okay. Okay, great. So here we go, all set up. All right. One more thing. Okay, great. Okay, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday, June 1st, Community Breathing and Tension Release. I'm Michele Moritz, and we're going to do just a nice little 45-minute breathing tension release class taken from Yoga Nirada class. So if you're interested in more about Yoga Nirada, please send me a message. So we're going to do a little bit more today, starting on the floor, relaxing with your feet out. So let's just kind of hang the feet out, relaxing in the hips and the lower back. And you want to let your head release forward, let your back go, and just find a nice comfortable position in your sitting bones, and just breathing out, letting the head go, letting the head release, and just feeling that your breath lets go here. We want to find a sense of dropping into the tail, releasing through the back of the legs. If you need to sit up on something a little bit more to do this, you can. Just letting your shoulders go, taking a moment to breathe into the back of your body, letting the weight of the head go, let any tension in your jaw and chin go here. And then let's start to take a nice little swaying motion with the head from side to side, breathing out, letting the weight of your head shift from one side to the other. So we're getting a nice sense of release, dropping into the bones and releasing the tissues around the bones a little bit more. Letting that release come through the low back, letting your sits bones shift from one side to the other, maybe the opposite one comes off the floor. And then using the breath through the low abdomen, we're going to walk backwards on the floor in our hips. So we're dragging the leg along the floor, using a nice shifting, lifting your sits bones and walking on them like little feet. And then changing to come forward, lifting up and dropping out, shifting in the hips, using one sits bone to push the other up and over like you do with your feet again. And then just hanging over, relaxing through the head, neck, and shoulders. Let your tail release down as you breathe in and up along the spine to roll all the way up, keeping that long tail dropping down as you come up until you're all the way up. And then just relaxing into your low back here. So let's use our fists and just do a nice little drumming into the low back around the sacrum, breathing into the glutes a little bit. So really getting into the upper glutes. And then working your way up the sides of your spine, breathing towards the ribs, towards your kidneys, and then back down again. And then taking your fist, just dropping right into the back sides of your hips. So into the back side, greater trochanter areas, releasing and bouncing. And then taking this from one side to the other. So we're getting kind of like a flush from the back of the hip, rushing down towards the foot, sending any tension or tightness down and out. And then we're going to open the palms, feeling the heels of the hands fluffing up around the sides of the legs, the IT band lines. We're scooping and releasing, letting the muscles really shake off the bones here. Working your way all the way down towards your knees. And then taking the fists, and we'll just go up around above the knees. So where our quads attach into the knees, just kind of fluffing things up over there, releasing any tension. And then taking fingertips onto the kneecaps here, right into the joint, feeling a nice vibration. Letting that release come through the joints. And then traveling down the shin bones, feeling that vibration internally, waking up from the inside, all the way down to your ankles. And then back up the shins again. And then leaning back, let's flush from the hips all the way down to the knees, getting a nice sense of pressure into the femur bones. So we're pressing in and sliding down, releasing down and out, massaging into the femur bones here, and going a little bit in and out to acknowledge the shape of your legs. And then coming down around the outside of the shins, relaxing in the palms and just fluffing up around the outside shin peroneals here, releasing, letting your palms gently sort of bounce off of the legs. And then sliding the feet back in, letting the knees relax out. Use the tops of your hands and just take a nice downward flushing motion on the inner thigh line. So these are abductors, releasing the tension and tightness here. Traveling down the inner thighs towards your knees. And then stretching through the calves, engaging through the heels, flexing to open the calves long and drop your fist down into your calves. Exhale, releasing and dropping, letting that shake off of the bone come through again. If you're feeling really tender, you can go lighter and just take nice little drops down. Coming all the way down to the lower part of the calves into the Achilles. And just breathing into that a little bit more. And then taking the palms back behind, we're going to relax the legs out, give a nice good shake out along the floor, nice little shift in the hips and the shoulders. And take one knee up, inhale, take a nice long exhale and send that leg down and away on the floor. Inhale, up. And exhale, release, and up, and exhale, let go, and up, and release. And now just relaxing the legs, do nice little taps with the inside of the toes here, feeling a nice little sense of turning in the hips, in the bones, shifting around. And then bringing the feet back in. So now we're going to circle through the ankles. Relaxing through the feet, breathing into the feet, circling the ankles around a bit. And then relaxing both feet on the floor, massaging right into that inside heel ankle bone area. Releasing and breathing into any tension that's holding on the inside of the foot, around the ankle bone. And then getting under the foot. So we're taking a nice deep massage underneath the sole of the foot, taking a nice flush from the heel all the way through towards the toes. So feeling that you're flushing through the same lines of your metatarsals, the bones in the feet, letting everything release. And also through the toes, we want to feel that we can just pull the toes longer from the foot. So opening the space where our toes stem from the foot through the balls of the feet. And then taking your hands underneath the balls of the feet, hold space, hold your toes open, relax through the feet and just breathe into that space between the toes for a moment without any tension in your feet. And then releasing out of that. So we're going to take our palms back behind, round your tail under, feel that your sits bones gather and lengthen down through the back of the legs, out through the feet. We're going to squeeze the legs together from the tail gathering and exhale, walking along the floor through the feet, spreading the toes out, using your toes to kind of pick up sand and flick it away. Exhale and walk. Feel that your arches are melting and breathing open into the floor as you walk. And when you get too far away, reverse it, starting with the toes going up and over, melting through the foot along the floor as you work your way back. So each little toe has its own energetic line that you're breathing open. And don't forget about your pinky toes there, breathing and lengthening back. Now let's go forward again, using the connection from the pelvis down and out through the feet. So we feel a sense of our breath connecting internally all the way out through the toes and beyond, right? So we're feeling that we're controlling, but not controlling too much. We're just feeling that energetic line. And then just relax, shaking the legs out. Let's bring the feet in. So we're kind of backtracking here. We're going to find a nice comfortable position seated on the floor, finding the sits bones. You can prop yourself up. You can even sit in a chair for this part. Relaxing through the low back, relax through the shoulders. Now that we just kind of opened up the legs a little bit, we're going to close the eyes and let the breath drop down into the base of the spine, into the base of the pelvis. Just letting the breath release so that you can find a sense of natural momentum with your breath. So think of this as an observation. You're not trying to control or manufacture your breathing. You're letting that release come through the back of the neck, the jaw, the chin, the shoulders. Feel a sense of energetic plumb line all the way down into the base of your spine and your pelvis. Releasing through the tail of the spine. Maybe you're a little bit pitched forward. You can drop back into your tail. Bringing your focus internally, letting go of any external thoughts or tensions. And then now, gently taking the eyes, looking open at your palms, letting the breath drop into the hands. So we're just gliding forward and back, very soft with the fingers here, letting that energy and friction and heat draw up into our hands, drawing the breath up and then releasing the palms open, feeling the energy between our hands, that buzzing, and let that push your palms out into the space around you. So we're going to breathe through the body outward into our space. Feel that you're sensing the space around you from connecting your breath inside to outside. So finding the breath through the back of the body. I particularly like to breathe through the back of the body on this part, but you don't have to. So wherever you feel, you can move through and explore the space around you. Feel that you can expand and connect into all of the space that you have beyond the walls, up above, down below, around the sides, behind you. And then we're going to reach out through the palms, gathering energy from the space around. Bring that through the palms over your face, sensing it over the eyes, and just wash that over your face and eyes, breathing into it, letting a sense of calmness flush over your face, releasing from the center out. We're going to take the fingertips, maybe the middle finger here, and just trace from the brow bone. Exhale from the inside to the outside with a nice little lift up into the hairline. So we're going to breathe out and carve this opening from the center above the eyes, the nice little lift up, and exhale, flushing through. Feel that your face relaxes as you're doing this, no tension there. And then taking your index fingers, a little bend there, we're going to sweep under the eyes, breathing out and sweeping underneath on the orbital bone. So try not to go right in your eyeball. You want to just flush along the orbital bone through the sinuses, releasing and opening and breathing into that. And again, try not to tense your face. Let your face receive a sense of calmness as you're doing this, open and calm. Fingertips on the forehead, breathing out and scrubbing up and down. We're just flushing through the skin, moving the lymph around underneath the skin, making our way around to the outside of the eyes, the temples, very, very light touch. circling around the temples, lightly moving the skin, and making your way down in between the upper and lower jaw. So you can poke a little bit more, you can palpate. Relax your jaw, hanging it open, and really dig in there, massaging all around. You can explore a little bit here because we're all different in where we hold. Moving around and feeling that you can really kind of release. Maybe you lean back a little, maybe side, maybe forward. We're going to come up into the scalp above the ears and just taking a nice little scrubbing, lifting motion, tracing around the tops of the ears and towards the back of the head, feeling that we lift any congestion energy off of the ears, feeling that we get a little bit taller towards the back of the head, and then taking that lift up right at the base of the head where the occipital is, where the top of the spine meets our head, and taking our hands into that little groove laterally. So we're going to open the space right underneath the skull where our neck starts here, going out towards the ears a little bit and breathing into that. And then coming back in towards the spine. Now we'll take a nice sort of circular motion, relaxing the head and massaging down the back of the neck, releasing into the muscles here, breathing into it, working our way down the back of the neck until we've reached the tops of the shoulders. Dig your fingers over top of the shoulders, take a nice exhale, and just sweep over, release and shake it off. And then going back again, breathing out, relax the shoulders and sweep off any little extra tension or tightness. And again, exhale, sweeping over and release it off. Now we're going to find the breath from the base of the spine, interlace the fingers, let the breath from the base of the spine lift you up, lifting up through the arms wherever they are. Try not to force your arms. Feel that connection from the base of the spine lifting you, peeling you up off of your seat, finding a nice sense of length through the low back and the pelvis. And then just relaxing the arms down in front. Relax the shoulders, relax the tail. We're going to swing the arms around the side. Inhale through the side. Breathe through the ribs in between them. Up. Exhale over. We're relaxing the shoulders and massaging the shoulder blades around the back. Inhale through the side and up. The elbows are wide and relaxed here. Exhale, forward, around, and down. Inhale, side and up. And exhale, over and forward and around. Inhale, through the side and up. Letting the breath in, take a little pause. Change, exhale, and forward, around. Inhale, finding that nice pokey elbow as you come up and over. Exhale, forward, around, and down. Inhale through the side and up, and exhale over, around and down. Inhale, side and up. Find that midline breath right from the base of the spine up, lifting you internally to reach up, keeping that lift inside as you release and float the arms open, around and down. And now from here, so let's go ahead. Let's come around and we did all our leg stuff. So we're going to just lift the chest up. We'll continue with the upper body and just kind of flushing around the ribs. We're going to flush through the lymph in our upper body, breathing, feeling that the chest cavity expands with your breath. And then coming down into the front of the hips, flushing through the groin, into the lymph here. And then into the center of the chest, nice little kind of scrubbing up and down, releasing any tension or tightness you're holding in the chest. And then continuing to flush down from the ribs into the hips, getting up underneath the sides of the ribs and back through center, underneath the other side ribs. And then coming back through center, relaxing the arms, relaxing your head over, taking your opposite hand and just massaging into the front of that shoulder, letting the release come through. Think of the shoulder that you're working on, letting go. So as that shoulder releases and lets go, then your head might be able to find some release and movement there. So we're not going to force the head. And then changing to the other side. Breathe into this shoulder that's letting go, and breathe into massaging and moving the lymph around in front of that shoulder into the chest. And just kind of seeing what happens with your head, letting it find a place to move through and let go from the neck as the shoulder lets go more and more. And relaxing through center. So now we're going to exhale, let the head hang over and swing the palm up over the shoulder, breathing out. So we get a nice drop up and over, getting a sense of release through the upper back. Feel that your palm is sending breath into your upper back rib cage and your lungs, breathing out, relaxing the palm. So you're not hitting yourself, you're just letting your breath travel through the hand, finding some momentum and release. Sometimes it feels good to go a little bit wider towards the outside of the shoulder at the attachment points of our trapezoids there. And exhale, breathing out and out. Now relaxing the tail under, draw the breath in and up. We're going to take a deep breath in, lifting up from inside. And exhale, release the arms, let go. And release. Breath draws in and up again. And release. One more time. Breath comes in. Lifting, 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 and let go. And just shake it all out. Feel a nice energetic release from the spine down and out. You're using gravity to help you a little bit here. Let the breath travel through the shoulders, the upper back, the elbows, the wrists. We want to get a nice fuzzy feeling, shaking down through the bones, letting the tissue release from the bones a little bit here. And then relaxing the hands after you feel them nice and fuzzy, interlace, and just do a little compression release, moving around. You can shear the heels of your hands a little bit forward and back there. And then relaxing your wrists, breathing out and just rolling around. Try to relax your shoulders here. Letting the jaw and the chin release. Let your breath guide you into releasing through the wrists. And then reversing it. Breathing out and just finding the release rhythm. So it might not feel like a rhythm at first, but you'll find one as you let go. Might not be as natural in this second position. And then just releasing, opening and closing a little bit through the hands. We're going to take a squeezing breath now. Let the breath in from the base of the spine. Let that lift you up. Inhale, expand. We're going to exhale, squeeze the breath out and squeeze through the fingertips, the toes, the eyes, compressing and pushing out anything negative, physical or emotional. Using your breath to squeeze it out of your body until you don't have any more breath left. New breath comes in, expand and open, and again exhale, squeezing it out, compressing, making space for new energy. Breath comes in one more time, exhale, squeezing it out. On this last one, we're going to exhale, but gather like new energy. Gathering new energy through the fingertips and toes, drawing that into your center, enveloping it with your breath. And just release anything that was holding on that was left. So come up into the very, very top of the head and neck there, getting some nice sense of length through the back of the body, through the crown of the head, relating from the tail end of the spine to feel length. Then we're going to take our hands to hold the back of the head, Rest your head into your palms, relax your shoulders, let your elbows go wherever you feel comfortable. Use the breath through the back of your head into your hands. It's your hands that are pulling up a little bit and sweeping through the back of the head to feel a sense of elongation, and let that continue to sweep up and release out, around and down. Now we're going to use the breath from the base of the spine up and out through the eyes. Eyes are scanning the room. We're relaxed, we're feeling a sense of plumb line, just looking around the room, finding a sense of length and connection from inside to outside. Take a new breath and scan the room to the other side, feeling a sense of length internally as you're looking around, just sort of seeing everything around you here at first. And then when we change again, let your vision expand. You want to feel that you can look out beyond the walls through the space that you're in. So it's like you're looking out into the distance on a horizon, finding that sense of openness in your vision here. And then changing one more time, expanding your vision, feeling very relaxed as you do this, like you're seeing something for the very first time, looking out, maybe over mountains. And then using your breath to bring your focus back through center. Take a deep breath in. We're going to take an inhale, pull the breath up, closing the eyes. Try not to tense up your shoulders and your chest. So you're going to inhale, squeeze the eyes shut. And then exhale, letting the eyes open and go. And then just sweeping around the eyes, blinking, letting any little extra cobwebs release from around the face and eyes. And then taking our fingertips, nice little taps all around the skull here, feeling that nice vibration travel and release. Waking up internally, taking a nice little sweeping up motion through the back of the head at the end here. Find a nice sense of length up through the top of the spine. You can use your vision. We're just going to spot from side to side. Feel that you're twirling from the top of the head, but not feeling like you're holding. So you're just letting the release come through as you look side to side, let your jaw go. If you feel comfortable, you can let this happen and go a little bit more. And as you want to release, slow down, go slowly as you release out of it. So you're not just going to stop suddenly, let the momentum slow down. So the first vertebrae helps us go up and down with our head. The second vertebrae helps us look side to side, right? So we want to try to just balance all that out. We're going to come around onto hands and knees now. I feel like I'm going to sneeze any moment. But we're going to come onto hands and knees, relaxing, tucking the toes under behind you. Feel a sense of breath flush from your center, gliding down and out through the back of the heel. Find your heel first a bit here and glide the heel back. Feel your tail glide towards your heel and feel that you're breathing into that space behind your knee and into the front of your hip, and then bring that foot back in. So we're going to tuck the toes under to start. Feel nice and aligned over the hips. A nice sense of breath through the center. Think of the midline releasing and flushing back. And it doesn't have to be deep. So we're just finding a sense of connection. We feel a sense of breath connection internally as we're reaching through the legs. So we're breathing through the joints. We're not holding in the joints. We're connecting through them to find a sense of motion. So we want to feel coordinated and releasing through and long. And connecting through and out. You can lean into that hip just a tad. Maybe some people are holding their hip up. You also want to feel that you're going up and over the hip, and also try not to drop too far down, but feel that you're elongating your tail towards your heel.
And we'll do one more, tucking the toes, find your heel, let that lift, release your tail back over your heel. Now we're going to come forward onto our knees, tuck the toes under. Use your hands to push your tail back over your heels. You can separate your toes a little, drop your heels towards the center, hang over, let your knees separate and hang your arms in this nice little squatting position. And just breathing out, hanging the head over, dropping the tail down. You can use your hands to shift your body weight on your feet a little bit here, opening and breathing into the feet. Take your hands closer to the feet, take a deep breath, exhale, scoop the tummy and push the floor away, stretching through the legs. You want to feel your tail shift back over the heels. You can separate a little and just kind of shake the legs out, hanging over. We're going to bend one knee, draw your tail. You're shifting your hip down into the straight leg heel. Take a little exhale and scoop and curl your head up as you're dropping your tail down, and then shift to the other side. You're hanging over the bent knee, but shifting down through that straight leg, scooping and curling, and release. And again, exhale, your tail draws down to the bottom heel, and change. And shift, exhale, draw the tail down to scoop, and release. And again, exhale, feel that weight drop into your heel as you curl. And again, drop your tail down through the heel to curl. And release. So now hanging through center, we're actually going to come all the way back down to the floor again. So we're not going to stand, we're going to bring the legs out in front. And we're just going to open up through the back of the legs and the heels a little, nice little shaking out on the floor. Let's bend one knee enough so that your foot can relax on the floor. We're not trying to bring this foot all the way up to the knee, right? So it's right around your ankle, little coupe. Heel goes out, flushing through the back of the knee. Now, when you stretch through the back of the knee along the floor, try to feel the back of your heel and ankle remain on the floor. If you absolutely cannot get a satisfied stretch through the knee without the heel coming up, it's just because of the shape and the alignment, right? So my heel will come up, so a lot of people try to lift their foot up. So don't try to lift your foot. Stretch through the back of the knee. Don't worry about what your foot does. So we're going to inhale, sweep around and up. Lift over the sits bones, come forward. You can bend your knee, grab the outside of the foot, take a nice exhale and curl. Feel your upper abdomen lift in and back and up, and then release. Breath comes in. Feel that your arm comes from your pelvis to go over. Relax, take hold of the outside of the foot. Feel your sits bones nice and even. Exhale, scoop in and back and up, and release. Right through the midline. Inhale up over the tail and forward. Relax. Let this bottom palm switch down a little. Exhale, scoop in and back and up, and release. And again, up and over, and hang. Let your head go. Feel your upper abdomen. Breathe through the upper back, and release. We're going to switch the feet. This time, let this knee hang open. So you're still low there. Take the hand you just used, the opposite arm. Tail goes down through the floor, lifting up over to the outside of the foot. So you're crossed over. This hand can go on your shin or on the floor on the side. We're going to scoop right back through center, pushing that leg down and out through the floor. And release. We're going to change right away. Inhale, long tail through the floor to come up and over, relaxing. Exhale, pushing that leg down and out, scooping in and back, and release and change. And long tail, opposite arm lifts. You lift over the sits bones to come forward. Relax. You can bend this knee as you need, and exhale. You're making space in the spine so your leg can release into the stretch. One more time, breathing in and up and over, and exhale, scooping in and back and up and release. So now with both feet out, flexing through the heels, softening behind your knees. We're actually going to almost bend the knees and draw the heels down into the floor. Both arms come up, tail goes down, inhale. Feel that the arms come from the sacrum, lifting up, lifting up, lifting up over the sits bones. We have a nice hinge to draw over and forward. Relax the legs. Take hold of your feet over top. Relax your shoulders. Take a nice exhale. Same scoop in and back and up. Make space in the spine to release the legs. Relaxing down. Shift your hands to the outsides of your feet. Release in your knees to find your tail. Your tail draws back. Shoulder blades draw down. Keep breathing back, breathing back. Draw the shoulder blades down to lift the chest up. Just finding this. And if you feel like you can stretch through the legs, go ahead and do that. And release. Now from here, we're going to bend one knee, bring the other foot out to the side. So whatever is comfortable for you. If your knee is up a little bit, do not worry. It's okay. So we're going to just take a nice opposite hand, pushing down close to your hip. You don't want to push on your knee. You're going close to the hip socket, pushing down. This palm turns up, the elbow breathes up. You're using a leverage. Push down to breathe up. Flex that outside heel and push away to go over. Don't try to reach with this top hip. Push the bottom leg down to spill your spine over. Push down to lift up. Now here, we're going to shift. We're going to drag this leg in, turn out, change, and reach through the other heel. Find your sits bones, let them drop down. If both sits bones are down and this knee is up, that's fine, that's better. Taking this palm over, push down really close to the hip socket. Breathe through the sits bones. Elbow and palm reach up. As you push down, because you push down, you're going away. Shifting and hanging over. Now push on the bottom leg to lift up and open. Shift in the hips, scoop, drag this leg in and out, around and change. Pressing down to go up and exhale over. Inhale, up, lift. We're going to scoop and drag in, around and change. And press down to go up. And exhale, just finding space in that little crease of your hip. Inhale up, shifting and dragging in. Now from here, let's go ahead and bring both feet out if you feel comfortable. This is not your widest range here, right? So we're actually going to bring the feet in a little so that we can get a nice crease in the front of the hips. We're going to come over and take hold of the outsides of your feet. So relaxing over and down, finding that release first. Maybe this is all you're going to do. Maybe you're just going to stay here. Try not to force anything. Find some breath in the abdomen. So we're going to inhale, scoop in and back and up to the ceiling. So you're rocking back, breathing in and back and up as you're holding onto your feet. Exhale, release down into the floor. Soften the knees here as you find your tail to lift the chest through. If you feel that you can stretch the legs, go ahead and do that. If you're just learning this, keep your legs soft. We want to feel the articulation through the spine before we add the legs. Inhale, scooping in and up. And exhale, releasing down. Draw the tail back. Feel that there's an energetic connection from your pinky toes to your sits bones. And release one more time. In and back and up. Inhale. And exhale, release. Long tail, pinky toes to sits bones to lift your chest up. Keep breathing through the chest. Find your tail. Your tail floats your arms up. Keeping that lift, float your arms around and back behind you. I'm going to come down on my fingertips. Push your fingertips down and lift your body up and over and forward a little bit. So you're lifting up and forward. Think of your sits bones reaching out towards your heels. Again, push down, lift up. Find that energy underneath the back of the legs out through the heels. And we're just going to do one more thing. We're not doing this whole series. Exhale, pull the elbows apart. Breathe down and out through the heels as you come up. Wide elbows, keeping that lift in the chest. Breathing the chest open, release the arms out, around and down. Relaxing back, slide the feet back in. Nice little shake out here. We're going to come around onto our hands and knees. And then from here, taking a nice curl, breathing out. So your heels are slightly sort of magnetized, touching together here. Take a nice exhale and relax your shoulders. Draw your tail down. And we're breathing in and back and up. So we're lifting out of the hips, breathing into the upper back. Inhale, lift through the abdomen to the ceiling. From the base of the spine up. Through the chest. As your chest comes through, you're lifting out of your shoulders. Lift your heels, tuck your toes, a little bend in the elbows, draw the shoulder blades down as you find your chest. And then come forward, inhale. So your body, your spine is moving through your hips and shoulders. You're not relying on your joints. So you're relying on your vertebrae, maybe a little bit more. But it's against gravity. So you're supporting internally through this articulation of your spine and gliding back. Breath comes in. So the breath helps you gather and feel that you can open and lengthen and connect into the spine. Breath comes in and up. You're lifting out of your hips, lifting out of your shoulders, letting your scapula draw down. And again, even as you extend, breathe up out of the hips and shoulders as you find your tail. And then come back forward. Tail draws down. We're actually going to take the hands a little closer to the knees, tucking the toes under. Use the breath through the abdomen just to lift your tail back up over your heels. We're going to walk your hands back to your feet, hanging over the legs again, breathing out. Feel the breath lift up through the upper abdomen to draw your tail down. So your sacrum's drawing down, down, down. As you breathe in and up along the spine, letting that length come through the hips, long from the low back through the tail down. And then from here, let me just adjust a little bit. Oh, there's Val. She's out of here. Okay, so now from here, we're just going to do a nice little sipping breath, standing up. So fingertips on the low belly. Find that plumb line now upright. So you have the crown of your head down through your tail. Tails down and out along the floor, scapula dropping down through the sits bones. We're going to start to gather the breath, sipping through the mouth, pushing through the floor with our feet to initiate that just a little bit. So let everything release through the bones to find the breath internally. Sustaining it. And exhale. As you exhale, gently bend the knees, breathing into the spine even more. And then release, lengthening. We're going to sip in and up, pushing the floor away. And exhale, deepening the breath. And again, sipping. And exhale. One more time, pushing the floor to sit. And exhale. Relaxing the arms down. So we're going to take a deep breath in, feel the breath come in and up through the floor, opening the chest and arms. We're going to gently take the fingertips together. We're relaxing, letting the knees bend ever so slightly. Turn the fingertips in towards you. Let the heels of your hands open. Think of your scapula opening wide, and your fingertips are drawing in towards your center. Let your tail drop down. Feel that plumb line in and down through the back into your heels. We're going to breathe out through the nose. We're doing a little pumping breath. As we exhale through the nose, the breath comes in and up. So it's a nice, like a momentum circling up and around and through. So you might feel that it's not there right away. Try to only breathe out through the nose unless you absolutely have to breathe out through your mouth, keeping your shoulders relaxed. Feel this internal lifting in and up as you exhale. And take a long exhale. Keep breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. And when the breath comes in, let that send you up, drawing your tail and heels down, and just finding that sense of length down to come up, letting the arms open and breathing the chest through, reaching down through the legs and finding that openness in your chest, letting the arms float out, around and down. And then just relaxing the shoulders, shrugging them up, releasing back, maybe a couple times. And let that release, kind of shaking it out, and let yourself just walk it out of that. Good. Okay. So a little bit more movement today. It's not easy to do that all in 45 minutes. So thank you very much, everyone. Any suggestions or questions or comments or special requests, please send me a message. Otherwise, I will see you next week, 12 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to have to change the time the next 2 weeks after that, probably to the afternoon or early in the morning. I'm going to think about what I can do, but I'm going to start teaching ABT, so I won't be able to do that, but I'll figure it out and send you a message. Anyway, next week, same time, same place. Thank you. I have to